Hey guys, welcome back to Chef Sahera Speaks, where we bake, cook, and connect through food. Today I'm sharing a recipe that's near and dear to my heart, and that is my mother-in-law's famous dinner rolls. In my family, these rolls are affectionately called Nana rolls. These rolls are the perfect addition to any holiday table or just for your Sunday dinner, and they are a guaranteed crowd pleaser. They're soft, fluffy, and have just the right amount of buttery goodness. I'll walk you through every step like my mother-in-law would make them. But before I share my mother-in-law's dinner rolls, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Trust me, it goes a long way as I am building up my culinary community here on YouTube. Now let's get into these dinner rolls. So you're gonna need some warm water, some sugar, some butter, some salt, some eggs, and some bread flour. And you need 1 pack of active dry yeast. The first thing that she does is put a pot of water on the stove, and she adds some butter and lets that melt in there and combines her sugar and salt. She doesn't let it boil. You don't want your water to get too hot because we need to add it to the yeast. And if your liquid is too hot, it can kill your yeast. So we just combine that, let everything meld together, let that butter get nice and melted. So now I'm just activating my yeast with some warm water, a half a cup of warm water, and I'm adding my active dry yeast. You can add 1 package. I actually had a jar yeast, so I just measured it out to 7 grams of yeast. We'll set that to the side for about 5 to 7 minutes until the yeast is completely dissolved. In the meantime, I'm just going to beat 2 eggs and set that to the side. Now that our liquid with our butter and sugar has cooled down, we still want it to be like room temperature. We don't want it to be cold. But now that it has cooled down, we're going to mix this with our yeast. We'll combine this and we'll also add our eggs to this mixture. I've already measured off my flour. So now we're gonna add half of our flour and we're just kind of eyeballing it. And we're gonna combine this to our mixture. We're gonna combine that with our whisk. I'm just using a whisk. If you are using a stand mixer, you can just use the paddle attachment, but I like to use the whisk. Once that's nice and smooth, I'll add the remaining flour, and then I'm going to attach it to my stand mixer and use the dough hook. We'll let the dough mix on medium for about 3 to 5 minutes. Your dough should be sticky, but you don't want it to be too sticky. If you touch the dough and it sticks to your finger, you just want to add another tablespoon or 2 to your mixture slowly. If you're not using a stand mixer, you can turn your dough out and knead the dough on your work surface for about 5 to 7 minutes. So once I let my dough mix, I still turn it out and just knead it for a few extra minutes because I definitely like to get a feel for the dough. Once your dough is ready, you can grease a bowl. I'm using some baking spray for my bowl, and then you cover it with a clean kitchen towel or some plastic wrap. You want this to rise in a warm spot in your kitchen for about an hour or 2 until it doubles in size. And the length of time that it takes to double in size depends on the temperature of your kitchen. If you feel like your kitchen is too cold, you can place the bowl in your oven with the light on. Punch down the dough to release the air, and then you can divide your dough into equal pieces. So I'm just cutting the dough into smaller parts, and I like to weigh my dough so I'll know that each roll is pretty much the same size. So here I'm using some Crisco or some vegetable shortening to grease the bottom of my half sheet pan. This is what my mother-in-law did, so this is what I'm doing. I'm using a half sheet pan because this recipe will yield about 24 rolls. If you want to bake them separately, you can use butter or also this Crisco to butter a 9x13 glass dish. Or if you're using an aluminum pan and want to bake them separately, use a smaller pan, a quarter sheet pan. And you can also line your pan with parchment paper. So here I'm just measuring out my dough, and for me, because I'm using a larger pan, I'm just going to do one bake off as opposed to two separate pans. So I'm using a half sheet pan and I am measuring my dough about 60 grams each. Now you just want to make a nice smooth ball. You can just take your dough and roll it in your hand, but I'm just kind of folding in my ends, the left and the right side, and then the top and the bottom all to the middle, kind of giving a pinch and using my thumb and my middle finger and just kind of cupping it in, going in a circular motion to get a nice smooth top. If your dough is not smooth on the side, you will definitely see it when your rolls bake off. It won't look as pretty. They will look a little funny. So if you want a nice even brown to your rolls, you should have a nice smooth round top. Now my mother-in-law didn't do this part. She actually just kind of pressed them out so her rolls were more square. She just kind of pressed them out, and she would put butter. She would use some plastic gloves and put butter on her hands and just kind of butter her hands and just kind of press the dough out and leave it on the pan like that. As you roll out your dough, make sure you leave a little space between each one because they need to rise again. Now I'm just wrapping it with some plastic wrap, and I'm gonna stick it in my oven with the light on to rise again. So this is what you want to see. This is how you know your rolls are proofed enough. The dough should come together. So just take a look from where we started to how your dough should look. So now that our rolls have risen, it's time to put them in the oven. We're going to bake these at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they're nice and golden brown. As soon as the rolls come out of the oven, brush them with some melted butter. And that's it, my mother-in-law's famous dinner rolls with my little twist to them. These rolls are definitely a staple at our family functions and gatherings, so I'm so excited to share these with you. So regardless of the holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or just a Sunday dinner, these rolls will make any meal extra special. If you have any questions or comments about this video, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss out when I upload more baking videos just like this. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.